Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture.
And I'm the inspirational Andy Murray from What Culture. And remember, word to your moms, we came to drop bombs. I got more rhymes than Madonna's got bongs.
Wow.
She likes a wee toke, I've heard.
Anyway, coming up, bloody Wednesday, eh? Hump day. But don't worry, I've got some big news about WWE 2K.
Bastian Booger wants to know what's on the menu, and AEW have just announced their latest venues.
Kane's first name, it be Glenn. But I'm happy to declare shoot season is still open.
Jesus Christ. Adam clearly looks like a fox, and here's what's going to happen to SmackDown schedule once it goes to Fox.
Nice. I'll allow it. Don't mess with Andy Murray. He's well hard, and I've got some massive news to tell you about the SummerSlam card. This is the news.
We are going to kick things off with a little look at last night's SmackDown. Stuff happened all over the place, including some developments in the Who is Trying to Murder Roman Reigns saga. So, Roman did a little sit-down interview with Kayla Braxton, very good. Apologised to Samoa Joe, very good. Later in the evening, he caught up with Buddy Murphy in the locker room, who of course was in the background of the scene when that scaffold collapsed on him. Buddy wasn't willing to give any answers. Roman beat him up. He extracted the information. Buddy said, hey, Daniel Bryan, didn't see him there. Rowan, he was definitely there.
Couldn't miss him, could you?
No. So the big question is, was Roman Reigns murdered or attempted murdered? That's not even a thing. By Rowan on this thing. Is Rowan the guy behind all of this? Now, Roman, not Rowan,
easily confused these
two goobers' names together, has been linked to a SummerSlam match with Daniel Bryan, Shagger Dave last week. He has also been linked to a tag team match on the pay-per-view with Joe against Rowan and Bryan. That would obviously tie all four men involved in this storyline together in a nice little bow. What do you making of all this, Mr. Wilborn?
I think it was a good little development on SmackDown. I'm kind of happy that they haven't just immediately gone, yep, okay, it was this person. And I would be far more interested in the sort of nuances of a tag team match, pitting people who sort of hate each other in Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns, teaming up against these two bastards who keep causing all the problems. Obviously, Daniel Bryan we suspect, really behind the whole thing. But I don't want them to blow this off, as we were talking about in the office earlier, with just a WWE.com exclusive and then just hot shot a match between Bryan and Roman. I feel like there's some legs in this, and if you can slowly eke it out of them, you can drag it out for quite some time and make this into a fascinating little story.
Yeah, totally agree. Bryan versus Roman is the match I want to see, but I'm happy to wait for it because it's going to rule. A couple of tweets we should highlight actually regarding the show. One from Roman afterwards. He said, looks like I had to beat a confession out of WWE Murphy. I have no problem with beating an explanation and an apology out of you, at Eric Rowan. So probably going to be some kind of confrontation even if they don't wrestle at SummerSlam. And also this happened. Dave Meltzer. Vince tore up the and he tweeted this at about 6 p.m. Eastern time last night. Vince tore up the show 90 minutes ago. So for the third week in a row, Vince McMahon has come in, looked at the SmackDown script, put that bad boy in the shredder, and written his own thing. And for the third week in a row, it's been a pretty good episode. So
yeah, it's weird. We normally sort of lambast them for completely rewriting stuff, and certainly when it happens on Monday Night Raw, it tends to ruin the show. But yet, with SmackDown, everyone sort of seems to be able to roll with the punches. I think it was being reported by Brian Alvarez initially that it was meant to be Bryan versus Kofi in the main event of SmackDown last night. Of course, it ended up being Bryan and Rowan versus The New Day, and then the subsequent revelation with Roman Reigns, of course. But yeah, can't complain. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing, Vince, I suppose.
It's good stuff.
Even though you don't really need writers.
Yeah. All 50 of them are.
Or at least let them have the weekend off, because they clearly don't need to bother.
Maybe fire like 40 of the 50 writers and use that money for, I don't know, healthcare. That'd be cool. Anyway,
let's move on with more developments around WWE and business, but not this business. I'm talking about the video game business. I don't know why I'm talking like that. They have announced after a 20-year working relationship that they've taken the decision to end their partnership with Yuke, who are, of course, behind WWE 2K. In a statement to the Video Games Chronicle website, they explained, as we continue to invest in the WWE 2K franchise, we've seen the Visual Concepts team, who are a California-based company which have sort of co-developed the 2K games and are overseeing the upcoming 2K20. They've seen them display incredible passion, talent and commitment to the future of the series. We thank Yuke for their years of partnership and are excited to see what the Visual Concepts team brings to the franchise moving forward. So they're changing who's behind the game, whilst also utilising someone who clearly has a bit of experience in developing the game as well. Of course, Yuke's were on about developing their own separate wrestling game as well. So it's not that much of a surprise, but it might come as a bit of good news to fans who feel, like myself, WWE 2K has become a bit stale and nothing spectacular.
Yeah, I can't, honest to God, I can't stand those games. I find them extremely boring.
I get really excited whenever when the Becky Lynch came out.
They make it look great.
I was like, yes. And then I saw that the reveal that they made clearly showed me the reveal with Roman and Becky revealing the front cover like in the game.
Yeah.
And I went, oh no. And I remembered all the times that I'd bought the game and never touched it.
They're just they're so unenjoyable to me. Like the gameplay isn't fun, the story mode's really dull. Like they're always laced with bugs and they kind of just look the same every year. It's not for me, it's for a lot of other people. So, pinch of Murray on that take.
No, I'm definitely not the only one in the What Culture office who continuously buys the game, plays like one Royal Rumble and goes, right, now I'm done.
That's enough, yeah. See you in a year.
Yeah.
So anything that can basically be done to revive the franchise, to me, is good. Or even if it's just minor tweaks, make the gameplay a bit more enjoyable, a bit more fun. For me, I'd like to see them be a bit more simplistic. I don't want a simulation, I want fun. So
just take SmackDown 2 from all those years ago on the PS2, PS1 even, and just update it.
Yeah.
That's all we want, really. I want a button bash when I'm trying to not get eliminated in a Rumble.
I want to be able to do power bombs off the top of Hell in a Cell again. You could do that in SmackDown 2. You can't do that in the current ones.
Come on.
Rubbish.
Sort it out. Hang on. Visual concepts.
Yeah, take that, VC. Ooh. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about AEW. Yesterday, they finally announced the second and third venues for their TV tapings. Of course, they debut. They've already sold something like 14,000 tickets for the first show on October 2nd. Now they are heading to Boston, the Agganis Arena there on the 9th of October, which has a capacity of around about 6,000 for hockey or 8,000 for concerts. And on the 16th of October, they are going to the Liacouras Center in Philadelphia, which is up to a 10,000 seater building. So, couple of things. They're working huge markets here, Boston, Philly. Where on earth is the first show again? How have I forgotten that? Washington, D.C. Yes. There we go. Big markets, big towns, pretty much guaranteed hot crowds and good crowds. Good numbers there. But they've obviously downgraded the buildings a little bit here, like roughly 8,000, roughly 10,000. Good move, I reckon. Obviously, your first show is going to be this big thing. It's going to encourage a lot more ticket sales than just a rank and file TV show would. We've spoken about ratings kind of starting high and then cratering off before
6 million, I said.
6 million, 7, I believe. Live attendances will do the exact same thing. They're going to start with this 5-figure number, it'll drop down, it'll level off, and maybe it'll start rising again if the people deem the product worth it. So, no surprises there. Good sized buildings regardless, encouraging stuff. The thing I like the most is that for the announcements on Twitter, they had like little themed graphics for each town. So the Boston had like a clover there because everyone who lives in Boston thinks they're Irish for some reason. And then Philadelphia had that mad bell that they like, Liberty L. That one, because it's all about drinking tea. They love tea in Philadelphia.
I think it's fantastic, this. I think they've picked the right venues. Interesting that they're going into Philadelphia as well, who's not necessarily as much recently, but certainly a few years ago got their fingers burnt quite a lot by WWE. So they're not necessarily going after WWE in their own backyard, but they're experienced wrestling guys. They know exactly where to target, and I think those sorts of numbers in terms of capacity make complete sense. Look, they've done a phenomenal number on their first show, but like you say, it is going to taper off, and the last thing you want to do is keep booking sort of 15,000 seater venues and then having to block off of it, because you'd rather have a packed venue that seats 8,000 people than a half-empty venue.
100%. Could not agree more.
Right. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, I'm telling them about it now. Yeah, just been reminded that
Louis Scoops.
No, it's Shoot Seats. Louis Scoops. It just reminded me that shoot season is still officially open. This time it is the Revival shooting on one of the top tag teams in AEW in the Lucha Bros. Dashwada responded to a tweet of Pena El Zero Miedo, of course, who is tweeting just a little gif of themselves saying, "You have to make actual moves to be a tag team. Hell of a moves team, though." And Scott Dawson responded to that with just the word moves. And of course, we've seen them going back and forth around a load of tag teams, which I think was kicked off with either Dashwada or Scott Dawson with the laughing, crying emoji when they tried to claim that the Lucha Bros are the best tag team ever.
Really good stuff, this. Like, they're obviously just building a little bit of heat for a future match, aren't they? Like they've been doing with the Young Bucks for ages. I think most of us expect the Revival to walk when their contracts expire next year, and it's smart of them to plant seeds already. And I think this is a good narrative as well, because I love the Lucha Brothers. I think they're great. I think they're probably the best or most entertaining tag team in the world at the moment. But they do a lot of flippy-dippy-doo-dah-days, and the Revival really don't, and it's a great contrast in styles. They're the traditionalists, the Lucha Brothers are the gift guys, the video game guys, doing all this mad stuff with like neck drops and head crushes and things. It's really good. I love this. I love, like, anytime people get kind of salty with each other on Twitter, it's right up my street. More of this.
Yes. Keep shooting, guys.
Keep shooting. Let's move over to SmackDown. Been some conflicting stories on how the scheduling is going to work for that brand when the Fox deal kicks in, shifting the show from Tuesdays to Fridays. PW Insider recently ran a story suggesting that SmackDown would do 3 events a week, 1 TV taping obviously and 2 live events. That has now been countered by Shagger on his shagging radio show, where he does like live shagging and stuff, and then does a bit of news at the end. Allegedly, he has said that in fact they will do a 4-day run. It'll be 4 consecutive days, as is kind of just the tradition in WWE. Thursday, live event. Friday, TV taping. Saturday, live event. Sunday, live event. Obviously, this will get a little bit screwed up. When pay-per-views come in, they will take precedent. WWE might do a different night when there's a pay-per-view on and they can't do a live show, maybe Mondays or something. But then Raw's on and that messes the whole thing up again. Either way, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a weird one for us to, why are we talking about this?
Well, it's fascinating because a lot of speculation has been going around when it comes to the way that it's going to work. The TV, you know, they've been so set in their ways for such a long time now that trying to adapt around that is going to be very interesting. But I think a lot of people anticipated perhaps a reduced schedule because of the Friday taping, but that doesn't seem to be the case, according to Dave.
Yeah. Do you like weekends? Do you like weekends at home, SmackDown wrestlers? Do you like enjoying time with your family? Yeah. Sorry.
They did make them work Christmas, I'm not exactly surprised. And let's move on and finally look ahead to SummerSlam. Another title match has been added to the card, this time for the Cruiserweight Championship. On 205 Live this week, we saw Tony Nese, Akira Tozawa, Jack Gallagher, Oni Lorcan, Kalisto and Ari Daivari fighting in a 6-pack challenge to see who will face Drew Gulak this Sunday. And the man with the longest finger in wrestling, Oni Lorcan, came out victorious and will face Drew Gulak, as I said, probably on the pre-show of SummerSlam, but the match between those two is going to be great.
It's going to be ridiculous. Like, they're going to beat the absolute piss out of each other. I can't wait. Like, I absolutely can't wait. Oni's a guy who makes everything exciting. Gulak,
his Twitter game's spectacular.
It's phenomenal. Well. Like, the finger thing was beautiful.
All caps all the time.
Yeah, he's very angry. He's at Star Destroyer. And Drew Gulak's having a hell of a year, like quietly under the radar, one of the best guys in the company, so can't wait.
Yet again, another reason why you need to watch, as long as I realise how long SummerSlam is, don't worry, I will be doing a live stream for it, I will be going through the pain with you, but it's another reason you have to watch the pre-show. Not all of it, not all the bollocks with, you know, David Otunga, just when those two come out, because they're going to be given a good 10-15 minutes and they're just going to put an absolute banger on, aren't they?
Oni's going to do some ET stuff with his finger.
We really want to see those fingers. Yeah. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCultureWWE, of course, if you want to get in touch. FSS, or I should say $S, heart emoji, asks the first question, who says, crazy or wild predictions for AEW when they get the ball rolling? This is his. Jimmy Havoc will win the AEW World title before MJF.
Wow. Man, that's a bold one. Luchasaurus. Let's do something to do with Luchasaurus.
Ooh, yeah.
So that gimmick came about because when Judas Draven was in Lucha Underground, I think he did some kind of mad lizard gimmick for some reason, because Lucha Underground is weird and have like dragons in cages and stuff. And the crowd chanted Luchasaurus, so he just ran with it, and now it's his gimmick. Because people were eaten and like killed and stuff in Lucha Underground, I'm going to say that Luchasaurus is going to eat Marco Stunt as a snack. He's going to spit out his bones, and that's going to be the basis of a feud with current tag partner Jungle Boy. They're going to do Marco Stunt's bones on a pole match. And it's going to be terrible.
How on earth do I follow something like that? Can I just say, like, I don't know, MJF wins a battle royal?
Yeah.
I'm trying to balance things out because I cannot follow something like
Sonny
that.
Kiss and Jim Cornette make friends.
Oh,
yeah. Crazy.
That is the craziest prediction you'll ever hear. Graham Wright gives us our second question this week. He says, haven't seen SmackDown yet, so this may be answered. It isn't, don't worry, Graham. Any ideas what's going to headline SummerSlam? Are they going to risk Brock versus Seth being booed out of the house at the end of the show?
Yeah, I think they're going to do that. I think that they reckon that the way they've built this match has built tremendous sympathy for Seth and having him
Nope.
get battered. It hasn't. I think it would be a mistake, but I think it's what they'll do. They could also go with Becky and Natalya because Becky is over as hell and Natalya will be in Canada, so there'll be a really interesting dynamic there. They could also do Trish and Charlotte because they bloody love Charlotte and Trish is in Canada as well. So
yeah.
It's a freeway shootout, but I do think they will do Brock and Seth. I do think Brock will probably win, and people are not going to like that, brother.
I don't know. They might like it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, they think, oh, if Seth wins, big happy celebration. If Brock wins, booze. But it's Canada, and look at the way you've booked Seth recently.
True.
I will be cheering for Brock Lesnar, having said literally at the end of the last pay-per-view, oh, don't worry, it'll be a short reign, and then Seth will take him off and everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
They've ruined Seth Rollins. I saw a tweet or something on Squared Circle, I think it was today, that said if you turn around to me at the start of this year and said Seth Rollins would win the Royal Rumble, beat Brock Lesnar and win the Universal title at WrestleMania, and now be in arguably the main event of SummerSlam, and I'd not care one jot, can be completely indifferent, I'd have been stunned.
Just done some slapping. Yeah.
But they've just, that
They've
bloody
not done
promo on Raw, awful.
I'm going to win.
Wet your hair.
Yeah.
Wet your hair at least, Seth. Come on. Right, final question today comes from Dr. Evan Williams, who says, with SummerSlam being the only Big Four pay-per-view with no gimmick match, what gimmick match would you add as a new tradition? Mine would be an over-the-hill battle royal. #Gangrel.
An over-the-hill battle. We'll get some crazy old dudes in for a big banter
Yeah.
session. I'm on board with that. Screw it, I almost swore. Screw it, it'll be funny. Like, remember the gimmick battle royal, WrestleMania 17?
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like, everyone hates it. I thought it was the best thing ever. The gobbledygooker, Iron Sheik could barely walk.
Load of boy poppers.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Get Kevin Nash in there taking no bumps, like all this crap. Yeah, hell yeah, do that. Do that 100%.
That is a good suggestion. Unfortunately, the correct answer, as always when we're asked these sorts of questions, is a reverse battle royal. TNA did it right. Everyone starts outside the ring, inexplicably just can't get into it yet because they have to sort of brawl at ringside even if they're not fighting anyone. Then you have a normal over-the-top rope battle royal, then a pinfall match between the last two. It works so well. I don't know why more people don't take on board TNA's ideas.
Fancy booking idea.
Go on.
You've just gone over one of Vince Russo's finest hours. Here's another one. Judy Bagwell, forklift. Roman Reigns, ambushed by a forklift last week. This week, Judy Bagwell, SummerSlam, shows up. Tag team match, 2-on-2, Joe and Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan, Eric Rowan, the winner, wins the forklift, gets to beat up Judy Bagwell. Jesus Christ, that's dark.
I mean, I'd take that over Seth at the moment, to be perfectly
Good
honest.
storytelling.
Yeah, it's sensible, you see.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to today's and finally. And I mean, sometimes stuff just falls into your lap and you go, oh, well, there you go. And this happened in the early hours of this morning on Twitter. Matt Riddle continuing his shoot season on not only Goldberg, but now, of course, Chris Jericho, sharing this image of the WCW Bro Revenge game featuring himself, Kevin Nash, Chris Jericho pulling this face, and Goldberg. He says, thank you, Matt McKnight. You're a stallion, so I assume credit should go to Matt McKnight for creating that image because it is absolutely amazing.
It's something else, that, isn't it? You know what? These guys, they need to do one of two things. They need to scrap or shag. Like, nothing else is going to get this energy out of their system.
Anytime I hear that either Jericho or Riddle, or even sometimes Goldberg has tweeted around this, I go, oh, straight into the veins, please. That sounds absolutely fantastic. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, send us Twitter questions at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for habanero. It's a pepper, innit?
Yeah, you can follow me at Adam Wilborn. You can follow us all, as I said, at WhatCultureWWE. And make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
Would you pay to see Matt Riddle pipe Goldberg?
Absolutely.